Hello everybody, my name is Rocío Carrasco from the University of Huelva, and the title of my presentation is Feminist Ethics and Resistance in Contemporary Science Fiction TV, The Expanse. And this contribution aims at analyzing the TV series The Expanse from a feminist lens to argue how spaces of resistance are needed in order to fight heteropatriarchal structures of power. So this idea of understanding and proposing new ethical practices, which is developed by feminist ethics, aims to understand, criticize, and correct how gender operates within our moral beliefs and practices. So in this sense, speculative TV opens a path to think in terms of what we want or desire for our future by analyzing critically what we see in our present. So for purposes of clarifications, I have divided this short presentation in 3 blocks around key concerns. The first one is, how does the series imagine future worlds? Is there an utopian community represented in this series? And how does the series resonate with Cervantes' Don Quixote? As for the first one, how does the series imagine future worlds? The Expanse proposes other ways of imagining and structuring future worlds that, while echoing contemporary concerns over neocolonization, conflict in politics, environmental and economic tensions, rivalries, and systemic inequities, still succeeds in offering us hope. So, set in several centuries in the future, the show delivers an imaginative and fully realized depictions of humanity's expansion throughout the solar system. The series reflects an evolved human society that has developed beyond the Earth, with 3 societies that inhabit different parts of the universe. The Belters, the Martians, and the Earthers are each depicted as having their own unique cultures, values, and customs. So the Expanse presents us with a social political commentary, providing viewers with a glimpse into humanity's possible future in the universe. In this sense, it's very interesting to refer to Vince and Alexander analysis of contemporary TV series, which includes The Expanse, that according to the authors, and I'm quoting them, negotiates, interrogates, and work through the contradictions of living in this neoliberal order, making visible what might be hard to see as one lives through it, at times naturalizing the status quo and at times offering visions of alternative possibilities. So this is very interesting, since science fiction opens a path to think in terms of what we want or desire for our future by analyzing critically what we see in our present. So science fiction stands as a space for reflecting on our present social and political structures by imagining better ways of structuring the world. The series delves on contemporary issues that need our urgent remediation: the environment, capitalist economies, social injustice, the commodification of human governance, and something that Vint and Alexander point out, the shift of neoliberalism from the margins, as it was in the 80s, to the center of Western democratic politics as we are experiencing today. So the series serves as this space for reflection upon all these contemporary issues. So what kind of social structures and relations do we desire for the future? Are inclusive modes of governing and structuring social order possible? When democratic values are under attack, what is to be done? The series serves as a space for reflection upon all these contemporary issues. What kind of social structures and relations do we desire for the future? And the TV series serves then as a space for projecting cultural anxieties and preoccupations, activating critical mechanism on viewers that desire other future for our planet. As concerning, is there an utopian community in the series? The series portrays different planetary colonies and space stations. Each of these locations exists outside the Earth-dominated civilization known as the United Nations. The colonies are established to provide resources to Earth, Mars, and the Belt, but they also create their own unique cultures and political systems. Yet, the series shows political and social tensions among the different communities. The Rocinante, which is a direct allusion to Cervantes' Don Quixote, as I will explain later, stands as a place of resistance in Foucault's term, a ship that moves continuously among the solar system and defies certain injustices. The members are a family with different past and origins, but with extreme sense of community and democratic values. The ship stands then as a valid example of how we as a society can deal with differences in a constructive way, overcoming political, racial, social, gender, and other differences. Power imbalances are somehow neutralized in this community composed of Earthers, Martians, and Belters, offering spectators with an alternative framework in which to engage in practices of freedom not possible in other spaces depicted in the series. The Rocinante works then as a kind of heterotopia in the sense that it portrays healthy relationships among the members of this interracial and diverse family, and whose actions and decisions concerning external conflicts are mainly moved by solidarity, social justice, and cooperation. Heterotopia is a concept developed by Foucault which refers to spaces or places that exist outside of normal norms and cultural expectations. These alternative spaces, while often overlooked or underestimated, can reveal valuable insights into the society that creates them. Through this heterotopic location, the Expanse encourages viewers to consider how societal norms and power structures are shaped, not only by the dominant culture, but also by the places and spaces that exist outside it. The Rocinante is the home of alternative family whose internal troubles and personal differences are solved in a democratic way and that functions as a mirror of how they, as a team, deal with interplanetary issues. This community offers hope in a universe where power imbalances seem difficult to resolve, at least in cooperative ways. So, in relation to the way contemporary science fiction imagines the future, Binge and Alexander argue that science fiction pays attention to the quotidian, in this case the family issues about the Rothi, and other social structures, the interplanetary conflicts, and the intertwining of both. This is partly achieved because viewers reflect on what they see and recognize as personal changes what might affect larger structures. And I'm quoting then personal changes that might affect larger structures invite viewers to consider multiple ways that communities of care and intimacy might reactivate more sustainable and hopeful social structures. That is why I consider really important to analyze personal relations among characters and the way quotidian acts like having a relaxed conversation, offering the other a cup of coffee, or respecting each other's intimacy and sexuality affect the way we understand the planet as a whole. Small acts of democracy and justice are further projected into the outside world and contribute to change it, a feminist tenet that is taken up by the series creator to suggest hope for the future. The characters about the Rothi share a space of respect, and all of them, consider a kind of traders by the homes, start a new life, forming a new family, a new way of understanding social relations. The ship stands then as a transformative space for gender and social relations. And the last topic I wanted to focus is how does this series resonate with Cervantes' Don Quixote? The first direct references to Cervantes' work appears in episode 3, season 1, when they need to find a name for the spaceship. When asked for it, Holden proposes Rocinante, which is the name of Don Quixote's horse. The name Rocinante comes from the Spanish name Rocin, which means a work horse, normally an old worn out horse. Don Quixote wanted a special name for his Rocin and called him Rocinante, elevating his category to a superior stanza, a name that sounds grandiose and important according to him. Indeed, the horse is described in the novel as a thin and bony animal, unattractive in appearance, yet resilient and raw and loyal, becoming a symbol of endurance who faithfully accompanies Don Quixote on his various adventures. So, in the series, we will discover how Holden, the protagonist, had a personal relation to Cervantes' novel, and we see how he had a manuscript of it in his house on Earth, a place where books are a scarcity. Holden stands as an idealist and, like Don Quixote, tries to defy the imaginary monsters that stands outside oppressing power structures in a search for a better future. And that's, yes, and let me just briefly conclude. I believe that the series offers spectators the possibility to reflect on certain issues that trouble us, contributed likewise to activate critical mechanisms to denounce certain discriminatory practices at work in our contemporary societies, and to find more sustainable ways of understanding the world. This is, I believe, the power of science fiction, the possibility to offer hope by imagining change. As Bindar Alexander claimed, utopian imagination is a technique of political resistance, and I think in this sense the Expanse proposes new ethical practices. And that's all. Thank you very much for your attention. I would be happy to answer any issue or questions you may have about my presentation. Thanks a lot.